Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about creating your first music loops using the built-in tracks in Studio One Prime. Okay, now let's get started. Now, when you log into Studio One, okay, before you create any track, this is your launch page. Okay, now this launch page, as you can see from here, Studio One Prime. Some of you may be running on the demo version, which is under demo. So don't worry, it will still work perfectly fine. After 30 days, they will prompt you again. If you want to upgrade, by all means go and do it. If you don't want, you can still choose the Prime and to enjoy the free recording DAW, the digital audio workstation. All right. So now let's get started. Under Studio One Prime, you will see artist profile. I've uploaded my nice photo. So this is like many years ago. How do you do that? You can see there is these three dots over here. Click on the three dots and then you will be able to see. And this is your pop-up. So the pop-ups, you can just choose whichever pictures that you want to. Okay, I can put my favorite minions. Yes, all right, and it becomes a minion. Okay, but it's okay. I think I prefer my own pictures for now. Okay, now next is the setup. So this one below the profile picture, you will see a setup. So over here, you can choose your audio interface. So if you click on the, now I'm using Audition ID 14 as my audio interface. So when you select the audio interface, you will see this pop-up page under preference. Audio device, playback device, and this is the place where you can choose your audio interface. Whichever audio interface that you are using, then you can just select it and choose the sample size, device block size. Usually I choose 512 so that it doesn't have a lot of latency. Sample rate you can choose, but is actually from the other side, but by right I usually use 48. So that it is good quality, but it is also not too taxing for my Mac. Okay, this is an old Mac that I'm using. Okay, it's already probably like 9 years, but it's still running strong. So you should get a Mac if you can. All right, now just hit OK. Now the next thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you the audio interface that I'm using. So because some of you may be thinking, what is audio interface and what are the considerations? So let me just show you very quickly what I'm using now. So what you are seeing over here are two audio interface that I have in my home studio. Actually, I have three. One is the Audition ID 22, which I just retired it. And this is a new one, ID 14 Mark II. The latest editions is metal casing, fantastic sound, great preamp and great converter. It is super nice, and stereo image is very good, so you should really consider if you have a budget. It's not very expensive. Okay, so it has the volume knob, and then over here it has two headphone outputs, so you can have one 1/4" jack, the other one you can have a 3.5 mm. So this is really sufficient for small studios when you do recording. Of course, I also have the headphone amps in case people, a few of them comes over and want to listen to the playback, or during recording they want to have a monitor using the headphone. I can use that. All right, but in the normal situations, two is good enough. And over here there's an instrument jack for you to put in your instrument. So behind you will see there are two sets of studio monitor cables. I have my Kelly. Okay, then this is the entry-level audio interface. Even though it's entry level, the quality is quite solid as well. Okay, so this is from Evo, which is a sister company of Audition. So they also make great audio interface and very affordable. This is less than 200. If you want to get a special discount, just let me know. Okay, I can give you the link. And then it has two mic input as well, one set of studio monitor only, but in front there's a instrument jack on the left, and on the right is the headphone output. Now, what good thing I like about Evo 4 is it's very handy, so you can just carry around. But not only that, it's very good for beginners because it has this smart gain buttons. It will automatically set the gain of your microphone and your input. So you don't, if you are just beginning to learn about audio productions, recording your own tracks or demos, then you don't need to be afraid of whether you are setting the gain correctly or not. So this will help you greatly. So I really recommend that for those beginners. Okay, so now let's get back to the PreSonus Studio One. Okay, so now let's talk about generating your first track, okay, using the loop. So on the left top corner, you will see a plus sign, new. So click on that, you will be able to see this page, okay. Templates, user, all right. So under templates, there is this record and mix, record now, create contents, blah blah blah. So let's select record and mix. Okay, that's usually where you can get started. And then on the right hand side, this is where you put your name. Okay, so it depends on what kind of tracks that you want to put. So for me, let's just do my loop track. Okay, underneath it will be the locations where you store the file. Now over here there is a setting. So if you have a drop down, you can see the setting. So under the sample rate, as I shared, usually I choose 48, and this is very good enough. Resolution 24 bits. Time base, you can put seconds or you can put bars, it doesn't matter. 10 minutes length should be good enough. Okay, so you can put it shorter as well, under 5 minutes. Okay, now once you're done this, click OK. You will then see the main screen. Let me just zoom out. Okay, main screen. So this is where you are going to create your first loop track, right? Now on your right hand, you will see this browse page. So if you don't have this, what you can do is you look at the right bottom, you will see this 3 buttons it's called edit, mix, and browse. Okay, so if you click on the browse, you will see the browse page that comes up. If you click on the mix, you will see the mix panel, and of course the edit panel as well. So now let's look at the browse panel. Now if those of you, when you click on the browse and when you go to loop tabs on the top over here, loops, you don't see all this lines of tracks. It's probably because you didn't actually download the tracks. So how do you actually download all the sample libraries? You go to top of your computer under Studio One. For the Mac, go to Studio One. You will be able to see what called Studio One installations. Okay, Studio One installations. So this is where you'll be able to see that. If you are using the Windows, also same thing. On top of your navigation, you will see Studio One. Just hover over it, you will see the Studio One installation. So this is an installation file that you see. This is the page, and if you have the loop libraries that is yet to be downloaded, you will be able to select. Just like, for example, you look at the documents, right? I can click and select. Okay, because I already download the loop libraries, it's actually by default it grays out, but you can actually click and select and install the items. Okay, so once you install and download, and you are good. Okay, now let me just get back to my Studio One. All right, now once you have the loops, you can audition the loops. Okay, so this loops is very interesting, so you can actually audition the loop. Let me just lower my volume for this loop track so that it doesn't overpower you. Okay, now I can go to, say for example, under pop, select, and I want to go to the drums. Okay, so there are loops that I can audition. How do I audition it? You can actually go to the bottom. If you see over here, there is a play button. So you can click on the play, then you can hear the selected track. Let me just increase the volume a little bit. Okay. So I can then also select other tracks, okay, that I want to audition. So I'm clicking on it, so it just play for you. Okay. Wow. Okay, so this is just drum. You can also select others, like for example, let's say piano. I want to find a pop. Roll it. So you have so many tracks that you can select and you can auditions. So once you've chosen your favorite ones, okay, for your loop track, what you're gonna do is just click and then drag and drop and then put it into the main track page over here. Now before we do that, let me just show you one trick that I usually will do, is to have a proper arrangement track laid out, so we know which section represent which section. So in a future video, I will show you how you can optimize the workflow, because if you have a arranger track, you can just move around the track and all the rest of the instruments will move together, and it makes your workflow even better. Okay, so for now, what we're gonna do is go to your top left. Under here, you will see a plus sign. This is add tracks. But before, next to the add track, you will have this global track visibility. Select it. You will see a drop down and click on the arranger. So once you have the arranger, this is your arranger track. So how do you activate that? Is you press and hold your control, and you will see the pencil coming out, and then click on it. Or if you are using Mac, it will be under the command, hold the command and then click. Usually I will leave a little bit of space before at the beginning, so that you have some space for the track to run. It will not be like immediate. Okay, now this intro is just like, you know, a very short bar. I may want to extend, so how do I go about it? So let's say I hover over and then I just drag it. All right, now I have 4 bars of tracks. Okay, now if you look at the below, this tempo is 120. Okay, so what I can do is I can drag my track over from here. Let's say, okay, let me see. I think this is a nice track. I want to use it for my intro. No problem. I can just drag and then drop it over here. Okay, so now I have my track over here. This is my intro. So let me just play it. So I can click over here on top to move my cursor over, and then press play or space bar. Okay, nice. This is my intro. And now let me just do another one, verse. So same thing, I hover over, press Control on the Windows, Command on the Mac, and then click on my left click on the mouse. Then it straight away tell me this is a verse. Okay, now I can at the same thing, I'll just drag over, make it a 4 bars. If I want to change the verse, how do I do it? I do a right click over here. I can then change, double click on the verse. I can change the word verse once, for example. Okay, now same thing. Let me just audition the drum and see which one is nice. I can actually double click. Okay, or this one, or this one. Okay, so seems like it is a verse. So I think I want to use this one. So I can just drag over and then put it over here. Okay, so let's hear it from the beginning. Alright, so you get the idea. So you can pre-create a lot of track first. Chorus, same thing, I can drag over. I can do another chorus, drag over and right click and change that to chorus. Okay, so you can just move around and then select your track. So now let's say example, so chorus, what should I do? I should probably do this. Wow, sounds cool. Drag it over. I can also duplicate that by holding the alternate keys or option and drag over. Then I will have that duplicate track. Okay, so I have my intro, verse, and then 2 chorus. So that will be my drum. I can then also go to, let's say I want to do a guitar. Okay, so let's say I have an intro. Okay, let's see, how about this one? This one not bad. So same thing, I can just drag over. Alright, now it will actually automatically create a track for you. Okay, so let's have a listen. How does it sound? Okay, now let's see, it's a little boring, right? So what we can do is I can actually shorten this. Okay, since seems like we have intro, right? And then verse 1 and then chorus. So let's find the verse then. Like not so nice, huh? So lah. Alright, so let's see if this works. This one not bad. Okay, let's try this to the verse 1. Can I shorten this? Okay, and then I will then duplicate this. Hold the alternate or option in the Mac, and then let's go chorus. Okay, let's do this. Alright, and you just finished your first loop track. Let's have a listen. Okay, so now it's too long already. So what we can do is you can of course go to the end of the track and then try to shorten that, but I can do it in a faster way. So on top of it, you will see this knives over here. Okay, so this is your tool that you can use. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this, okay, or I can use my the key number 3, okay, on my keyboard. And then from here I can actually cut away, so I don't need to cut it immediate, so maybe I should do it somewhere here. So you see I have sliced the track into a different way, and then I press 1 again and go back to the arrow tools and I select this and delete this. Okay, so now let's hear how the ending sounds like. Okay, so it seems like a little bit abrupt, so I can extend this. Okay. Okay, so what I can do is I can hover over. So if you see this triangle over here, okay, so if you hover over the triangle, it's actually a fade out tool. So you can do this. Okay, just drag. Okay, so where we can do this. Okay, so let's just shorten the track a little bit. Okay, so one more, then we are good, I think. Okay. Okay, so this is how we do the track. Of course, there is limitation because anyway it's loop, right? So it's pre-recorded, but we are good. So let's just Alright, so let's see if I can actually blend this thing in. So actually what I can do is this. Let me just cut this and then put in the ending over. Brilliant. Okay, so let's sound. Sounds okay to me. Okay, I just cut this away and then delete this and drag it over. Alright, so I think that's good. So you can then save the song by just clicking save, Command S or Control S to save it. And this is kind of your loop track already. Congratulations. Alright, sounds cool. So thank you so much for watching. We will have more tutorial coming up and see you again. Bye bye.